Hello, today we are outdoors and I want to show you my top 5 bushcraft knives, and actually that's not hard for me to choose because these are my only 5 bushcraft knives. Of course I have more than 5 fixed blades, but I wouldn't consider them all to be bushcraft knives. In my understanding, if you only choose a one tool option or one knife to do all the tasks, this goes more into the direction of a survival knife or an all-round camp knife or something like that. But my idea of bushcraft is the emphasis on the crafting part. So you want to make something, preferably out of wood, and in that case you need some tools. And I usually choose a knife and some extra tools, for example like a small hatchet and preferably also a small saw. This is important because for people who choose a one tool option or just a knife to do all the tasks, none of my top 5 knives would make sense. So keep that in mind, that yes, I like all these knives, but they are always used in conjunction with other tools. So let's start with my number 5. This is the Ahti Korpi Finnish knife. Comes with this nice sheath. It's a bit unusual sheath, a leather sheath. See this loop, so it has to be worn diagonally. The knife itself, this is actually my preferred, or more or less my only carving knife. Comes with a nice thin blade, Scandi grind, and nice ergonomic and thick and round handle, which is important for carving. So you have a comfortable grip that you can use and carve. As I said, it's carbon steel, so it's not the best in edge holding. You have to keep it sharp regularly. Yeah. But it's also not very expensive. I think it costs around 40-45 euros. So this is my number 5. My number 4 is the Enzo Trapper. This is actually my first dedicated, so to say, bushcraft knife. It's well known, and that's also why I chose it. I thought it would be perfect. Well, it isn't. It's close in many aspects, but not quite there yet. First I'll show you the sheath. A really nice dangler sheath, leather, one of my favorite leather sheaths. So this is how it's carried. Yeah, no complaints about the sheath. But there's several different blade options, referring to the steel but also to the grind. So it comes in flat and Scandi. For bushcraft knife I chose Scandi grind, and for the steel I chose D2. My idea was, yeah, D2 is a tool steel. It's has good, very resistant, it's almost stainless, and it's reasonably tough, so why not? But as it turned out, D2 and Scandi grind are not the best. Is not the best combination, because the Scandi and this Enzo Trapper comes in a true or zero Scandi grind, so very fine edge, and D2 is not the best option for fine edge. It tends to chip, so I reprofiled it. I put a micro bevel on it and I removed it, and yeah, I put it through a lot of stuff, and it's okay, but it's not great. And also the handle, for a real bushcraft knife, it's a little bit too thin. If you look, I have big hands. I mean, it fits in the hand, but I wish it would be a bit thicker. Okay, this is my number 4. Moving on, my number 3. This is the River Northstar, the original version in A2. It's not being produced anymore as far as I know. Just to show you also the sheath here, it comes in a traditional black leather sheath. It's a bit worn off, yeah. Had an accident here, but this actually saved my leg. And it also comes with a holder for fire steel. Nice sheath. Now to the knife itself. It is far from perfect out of the box for bushcrafting. I think this was one of the first attempts of Buck River to make a bushcraft line of knives. Now they have more dedicated bushcrafters. This is very similar to the Fox River. Actually it's almost the same, only the Fox River has more of a belly. Otherwise it's almost the handle is identical as far as I know. This comes in mine in G10 handles. And the blade. I like the length and the drop point and everything, and it comes in A2. And yeah, I had quite some problems with it in terms of corrosion resistance, or better lack of it. Well, A2 is a tool steel, around 5 or 5.5% chromium, so it's supposed to be semi stainless. However, it acts more like a carbon steel. It's closer to a carbon steel in reality than to something like CPM 3V, even though CPM 3V is also a semi-stainless steel. And in conjunction with the blade, which was very thick out of the box, 4.3 millimeters, I removed quite a bit of material, and now it's around 3.8 to 3.9 millimeters, which is far more suitable for bushcraft tasks. And as you might be able to see here, I forced a patina on it, because as I said, I had problems with it, and in the early stages of forming a patina it looks really ugly, and then when I removed a lot of material from the sides, then it started again to form a patina. It's again really ugly, so I forced the patina, but selectively only on the flanks. The spine is clear, and the edge obviously. So now it's really usable. You can also choke back and hack a bit with it, and yeah. And I like it more because I put a lot of effort in it to make it really useful. So this is my number 3. My number 2 is here, the Buck River Ultralite Bushcrafter. Just to show you the sheath, it comes in a very small sheath, leather, really tiny, but the advantage is that you can put it into a bigger pocket if you have one. So yeah, back to the knife. As I said in my video about my top 5 fixed blade knives, this is one of the best handle ergonomics of any knife that I own. It's really great, and that's also really important for a bushcraft knife. It comes in CPM 3V steel, great steel for harder outdoor use. It's only 2.3 or 2.5 millimeters thick, so it's good to perform. It comes in Scandivax grind, so this is Scandi grind with the bottom part not flat but rounded like in a convex, so that's why it's called Scandivax. It works great on this one, on the Ultralite Bushcrafter, but I was never convinced that it would work in the full-size Bushcrafter, because in my opinion you cannot scale up or down the dimensions and expect the knife to behave the same. And a Scandi, a convex grind, when it starts so low, like on the Scandivax, and when you have a thick blade stock like in a full-size Bushcrafter, it does not perform quite well. I don't have the full-size, but a friend of mine has, and I tried it and I was not very impressed. But here it works really nice, and yeah, it's a small-sized Bushcrafter, and again in conjunction with something like a hatchet works really great. And now, ta-da, to my number one pick. Relatively new knife, but I immediately fell in love with it. This is actually a custom knife, my first fixed blade custom. Just to show you, also the sheath, custom sheath with a custom fire steel, locks in perfectly. Great leather sheath. Now to the knife itself. From the shape you can see that it's very similar to the Spyderco Bushcraft knife, and yeah, that was the idea behind it from the guy who made it. The dimensions are the same as in the Spyderco Bushcraft knife. Really thick handles, which I like. It really fits perfectly in hand. It comes in an exotic wood and 3 layers of liner, green, white and blue liners. Really beautiful copper pins and copper lanyard hole. And the steel is Elmex. Yeah, some people might say, yeah, that's Elmex is great steel, but not for bushcraft because it's stainless steel and it's not as tough. Well, that's why I had my introduction with the idea that I have about bushcraft knives. I will probably never use it or abuse it to some extent that some other people might do. But anyway, still it has very thick spine, and Elmex for stainless steel is no slouch really. And the positive side of Elmex is that it's great at holding an edge, and well, it's stainless steel. Yeah. So for my needs, it's absolutely perfect. It's great performer, and the ergonomics. And for bushcraft, ergonomics is equally as important as the blade. So here you can see it just fits perfectly in my hand in a full fist grip. And due to this lower part that is curved, you can choke back on it and hack with it easily, even though the scales are really slick, but the ergonomics are what keeps the knife in the hand. And then when you put it in the reverse grip, again this curve fits perfectly into the palm, so you have a good power grip and comfortable and secure. And this is important for bushcraft knife for me, that you have comfortable, secure grip so that you can use the knife safely and precisely. Okay, that's it. Thanks for watching.